What is up, Misfits and Moonbasers? It's your boy Ray Recall coming at you again with another Transformers review. And today we're once again continuing on in the studio series, more or less. This is actually going to be kind of hard to. It's kind of a weird way to explain it, but I guess there's not really anything else to do but to get right into it. Otherwise, I'm just babbling. So, today we're going to be looking at Transformers: The Last Night Premiere Edition Voyager class. Scorn. And yeah, this is a little bit too big for my backdrop there. This is the Voyager class movie Dinobot from the Premiere Edition, which what we thought was going to be the Transformers 5 toy line. Turns out it was a precursor to the studio series that we didn't even realize that we were going to be getting later on. So interesting, but still, I mean, after all, I mean, Premiere Edition Nitro Zeus. I mean, they use the exact same thing for the Studio Series KSI Boss and Studio Series Thundercracker with a different head sculpt. So, yeah. Premiere Edition was basically just the dry run for Studio Series. So, but yeah, here we have Scorn. And this is the Dinobot from The Last Night. And I picked this guy up because at the time, was getting all the the Premiere Edition Dinobots, because I love the fact that they weren't bright neon BS. I don't think I have any. I think this is the only guy that I still have left from the time that I had to sell them all, unfortunately. I think I might have kept Slash, I'm not sure, but yeah, as far as I know, this is the only movie Dinobot that I have, and quite frankly, I'm glad that I kept him. He is quite a considerable size, as you can see. Once again, just bringing in... I do apologize for the tumbling. My recording studio is literally just a t-shirt on the floor, so... But yeah, just to bring back Nitro Zeus real quick, you can see he's pretty big for a Voyager. So yeah, pretty impressive indeed. Get a real close look at the head sculpt here. I'm not sure how it'll come off on camera, but there we go. You can see that metallic silver, that deep red. His eyes are picked out in blue. It's kind of hard to see unless you have the light just right, but that is a very good detail on there. It's like I think the eyes are like one of the few spots of color that isn't, silver and this rusty blood red. But yeah, now articulation wise, obviously his mouth can open pretty wide. Some nice sharp teeth in there. Can close. Can look left, right. Head is on a swivel, so it can technically do a full 360. And while scary that is, but you can have some emotion. Head tilts, giving you the side eye. It's kind of anybody that owns a bird knows. They know the side eye. Front arms are on a ball joint. They can go full 360. A little bit of pivoting right here, you could say. Legs are on a rotation and a hinge, so they can hinge out about that far. Can rotate down. Can rotate up. Knees are on a fairly deep knee bend, about 90 degrees, give or take. And the ankle can shift about that much. The tail is very posable. It is on a rotation here, as well as a hinge here at this little pin, and a hinge here, and a hinge here. So you can get the tail to do some pretty decent bends, but even without breaking the sculpt, it can still bend pretty far. And it can also go straight out too. And then final piece of articulation, the back fins are on hinges, so they can go up, they can go out. I like to just kind of leave them with the natural slant. And then this one on top can also go like so. The fins are soft molded plastic, as well as the actual links of the tail. There is actual solid structure in the tail at these 2 points though, so there you have that. So yeah, a very good Dino mode, scaled well with the other Studio or Premiere Edition Dinobots. I don't know how well he scales with Studio Series Grimlock. I don't have that figure, and unfortunately I don't think I ever will. But he is a very nice Dinobot figure. I have him. I have had him up on the shelf with my Volcanicus, the Generations Dinobots, as well as Fans Project's Akara, and that just kind of adds more flavor to the Dinobots. You know, a little bit of G1, a little bit of G1, a little bit of Generations, a little bit of movie, a little bit of third party. So my Dinobot shelf looks lit. And that's just him in his beast mode. In robot mode, he's even more impressive. So now, as you can see, there is just the only real bit of visible robot mode kibble is just kind of like the robot mode hand just hanging out there. Honestly, I can easily ignore it because of the aesthetic. It just blends in well with the... Unless you're looking directly at the hand, it just kind of looks like more just spikes and death metal and Doom Eternal and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Anyway, let's get to robot mode, shall we? Let's see what this guy looks like in his robot mode. So, to start off with, let's start with the legs. So, to start off with, you're going to take the legs, rotate them, or pivot them out at this point. Take this panel, which in beast mode just kind of sits up there, out of the way. I'm going to take it, just drop it down, and then take this panel right here, drop it down, extend the leg, and then you want to take this little heel section right here, flip it up like so, and then rotate this whole lower leg part down and flip it back into place. That'll keep it from rotating and lock the robot mode leg into place. And then just straighten out the leg, and you have a leg all done. So do the same thing on the other side. You do have to get the leg out in order to have clearance to drop this down. And then just straighten everything out. Rotate, lock that into place, and you'll have the legs all done. Come up to this section up here, split these open. Then you want to come right here and take these panels. I'm not sure how well you can see that. Take these red panels and flip them up. You can see that there's a tab that goes in between these two little notches right there. That's what locks it in beast mode. Whenever you unplug these, you'll see that there are ports and a tab, port and a tab. That will free up this section down here. What you want to do is take this. Well, let's get the arm out of the way. You want to take this whole section and drop it down. Now, if you look back here into this section, you'll see. I don't know how well you can see. You can see how this will rotate. You want to be able to have it in this position. Yeah. There we go. You want to have it in this position so that that slot will match up with this tab when you're going into beast mode. It does rotate with what will become the arm. So the easiest thing to do is just to hold the arm, rotate it around, and then hold it in place whenever you're going back to beast mode. And then same thing for, oh, it already came untabbed, so take this back section, pull it up, and then take this, untab it. As you can see, there's another one of those little rotating discs that will tab in right here. And then this little tab up top will tab in up here. And as you can see at the top of the shoulder, there's a corresponding tab into the whole neck assembly. So there you have that. So now, pull back the camera. You can see that you have quite a bit of a mess. So what you want to do is you want to take this whole upper section, pull it all the way back. This will allow you to take the beast mode head, drop it in right there, and then come to this panel right here, push it around. That'll flip up the robot mode head. And then there's a lot of finagling at this point, but it's manageable. You basically take this, collapse it back into the back, like so. And there is a notch for these neck spines. If you can see here, there's a slot and a tab that will tab together like so. That'll hold the whole back assembly into place. And then you can just fold up these spines however you want, just to make the back a little bit smoother. Coming to the front, you're going to want to take this whole section, rotate it this way, so that the tail is going to become the left arm. And then, if you notice, these little tabs, you're going to want to take it, rotate it to the up position, so that this slot correspond with this tab. And sometimes it doesn't want to line up just right. You just got to kind of finagle it. But there we go. Got it first try. And then do the same thing on the other side. Take it, rotate it, and then bring it into the body. And that'll tab the chest in together. Last thing you want to do is you want to take the legs, the sides of the hips, and just peg them together. They peg together quite nicely. And then just straighten out everything. You can take the little vestigial dino arms or whatever and just fold that up. And once you get everything straightened out, there you have Premier Edition Voyager Scorn in his robot mode. And yeah, he looks really good. In fact, he's so big I'm gonna have to raise the camera up a little. Do I have something that I can raise it? Yes, I do. Dante's Inferno. There we go. What better to use to help review a Dinobot? There we go. Is he in frame? He's in frame. I gotta extend my arms out real far for this. Okay. But yeah, this is The Last Night Scorn. Have I been saying Age of Extinction this whole time? I hope not. But this is The Last Night Scorn in robot mode, and he is just real amazing. Take a quick look at that head sculpt. That bright blue that was for the beast mode eyes is carried over here. Love the silver weathering effects. I like the way that the silver just bleeds into or just fades into the red is really nice. I don't know if I mentioned it on the tail either, but yeah, it's just really good. I love the quality on the paint job on this guy. Really solid figure too. Doesn't feel like he flops around any. The weight of his spike arm doesn't really affect anything. These spikes are, again, rubber plastic, so you don't have to worry about impaling your fingers on him. And yeah, he's just a really good figure. So articulation, his head is on a bit of a ball joint. Due to the way it's sculpted, you can only really get left and right. Not really much up or down, not really much tilt, but you can feel it's on a ball joint. Shoulders can do a full 360. They can go in and out, and that's the same with both shoulders. vestigial arms, little dino arms or whatever. That's kibble, but you can just kind of put them up, and it just kind of looks like spikes. Both arms have a bicep rotation. Both arms have an elbow bend. This is the elbow proper right here. Now for the tail arm, there was the articulation at this little hinge point. Let me see if I can get it. There we go. At this little hinge point right here, that was for the tail articulation. For the robot mode, there's an actual designated elbow joint right there. I don't know how well you can see that, but that whole assembly will actually rotate. And that way you kind of have him with a lance. So that's a real cool addition to the knight motif. That's very unique for Scorn. This hand does have a rotation at the wrist. His fingers can close. I'm not sure if there's anything he can actually hold, but yeah, his hands can close. Due to transformation, nothing at the waist. Hips can go forward that far. Back pretty far, actually. I was really surprised with that. About that much of a kick. Rotation at the knee. The knees have, I think, a little bit more, just slightly over 90 degrees of bend, if you look at that from that direction. Maybe it's just 90 degrees. And then the ankle is on a rocker as well as a pretty decent pivot. You get a really big pivot going that way, but it's enough to have him splayed out stance, which is pretty good. Yeah. Let me see if I can, you know what? Oh no, that's way too much. Way too much. Okay. Sorry, my camera is literally just my phone, so there's not really much I can do with it. But yeah, there is that. And the cool thing about the tail arm is that in the movie, you know how he had it like draped around his neck like a scarf? You can still, let me see if I can get that pulled off. You can still kind of have it draped over his shoulder or whatever, or over his neck if you want, where he's just kind of chilling. Looks pretty cool, but just having it as a lance is also pretty nice, and that's how I kind of have him displayed. So there you have that. So getting to robot mode size comparison, here he is with one of my earlier reviews, Studio Series Deluxe Shatter. Two red robots right there. Let's see. Voyager class Premier Edition Nitro Zeus. Your backpack is getting in the way, so let me go ahead and bring you both to the same spot. Nitro Zeus, his antenna kind of give him a little extra height, but Scorn definitely feels, you can feel the difference in mass. And that's largely due to the rubberized plastic. And who else we got? Yeah, why not? Here he is with Leader Shockwave unarmored. So there you have that. Oh yeah, almost forgot. Fans Projects Akara. There you go. So yeah. So yeah, there you have Voyager Scorn in all of his glory. I'm just now noticing the camera's really picking up a lot deeper reds than the figure actually has in hand. They're more of a kind of rusty, muted red. than the just bright cherry red that's coming off on screen. Also, the contrast is way, way, ugh. Let's see if I can adjust the brightness on this. I'm gonna have to figure out how this camera works. But yeah, there you have Scorn. Now I don't know if you can pick this guy up anymore at regular retail. As far as I know, let's see. I think like bbts.com. I don't think they have it anymore. You could probably find it if you really hunt for him, but even when this guy was coming out, I had a hard time. I had a hard time finding him whenever he was first being released. Like, I found this guy at Walmart, and I picked him up, and I have never seen him on the shelf ever since. So I was really lucky with this guy. But if you happen to find somebody that has one of these that's willing to let it go, you know, don't let scalpers scalp you for it. But he is a very good figure on his own. Definitely worth it if you have, if you're trying to get the movie Dinobots. There we go, that's a little bit better. If you're trying to have like a full display with the movie Dinobots, or like me, if you only have him as the only movie Dinobot, he still is a really good addition to a Dinobot shelf. Just kind of adds a little bit of his own unique flavor and just kind of pop to your collection. So anyway, I think that's about as much as I have to say on this subject. So this has been Transformers The Last Knight, Voyager class Scorn. I have been Ray Recall. Y'all have been awesome. Stay safe out there, and I will see y'all in the next video. So, peace.